Hey, what's up, guys? We've got a great question from Jeff today, and Jeff asked, what are some things that you would look for in a pitcher when he is tipping his pitches? Okay, so we're gonna go at this from an opposing team standpoint. Okay, what you should look for in pitchers for a guy who's giving away his pitches, tipping his pitches. Okay, the first one, and if you come across a guy that's doing this, hopefully a lot of guys by the time they reach the big bases should have been taught not to do this, but you'll still find a couple. Okay, and that's just, you know, wiggling his hand or moving the ball on certain pitches. So if he's, you know, grabbing a four-seam grip, and then every time he goes to throw a curveball, he's got a little wiggle before he goes. Obviously, that's an easy tell. Okay, that's probably, if you come across that guy, you should be happy. That's the easiest one to pick out of all of them. Okay, now a little bit more subtle of a tip of the pitches is you can look at the pitcher's right forearm. Okay, a lot of guys will have a slight difference in the way they're gripping the pitch in the glove to how their forearm is. So you can see it's not as thick here as I'm turning it. So you can see, if you're just looking at that forearm, you can see subtle differences in some of the different pitches. Here would be a fastball, here might be a curveball or a slider, here's a changeup. So you can see very subtle differences in the wrist, forearm area of the throwing hand if you're paying very close attention. Now some guys are going to have more than others, and that's a way to tip. Okay, or pick up what pitch is coming. Another way is just, really for any way, you just got to be aware of what the pitcher is doing. Certain guys have certain tips, okay? So you just really got to pay attention to the game, what he's doing. A lot of guys will change a little something in their mechanics when they're throwing a pitch. A lot of guys will have a different arm circle on different pitches, okay? So if you can focus on, instead of trying to pick the pitch out of his hand, focus on his arm circle when he's coming through, and you'll see a lot of guys shorten up their arm circle on off-speed pitches. Okay, so that's a way to pick it out. And that really goes back to intuition and pitch recognition. Okay, if you can see that and kind of read off of that, you're going to be a great hitter. Great hitters do that. Okay, but going back to stealing pitches or having the pitcher tip the pitches to you, when you get those, if let's say you pick them, you know, the coach can see the forearm moving or whatever it is. You tip the guy. Now, how do you relay those findings into your players at bat? Okay, one way is you could do, I'm sure you probably heard of first and last name. So if a fastball is coming, you say, you know, say I'm hitting. The coach would say, hey John, come on. So he said my first name, so I knew a fastball was coming. If he says, hey Madden, maybe that means a changeup's coming. Last name is changeup. And then maybe my number, hey 18, come on. Maybe that's curveball. Okay, so you got to come up with a system how to relay that, because if you pick them, that's great, but how are you going to use them? Now, some guys don't like to know what's coming. Okay, they're more of the intuitive kind, of just like to see it and react to it, and that's okay too. You got to find out what works for you. Do you like to know what's coming, or do you not like to know what's coming? Okay, but either way, you should be aware of what your pitcher's doing and pick up any subtle differences in his mechanics or in his arm circle or whatever it may be, because you're going to be better. Even if you don't want to know what pitch is coming, you're going to be better intuitively just seeing the whole thing coming at you. Okay, so I hope that answered your question, Jeff. Great question. If you got a question, send it in and I'll be happy to answer it. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and then join the free newsletter at YouGoProBaseball.com.